And we are live. Yay. It's been a while, so I wasn't sure I remembered how to do this, but I did. I'm so proud. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day one of the pop-up summit. Yeah, I know you're all like, what the heck is a pop-up summit? It's exactly what it says. It's people are going to be popping in and out of the group all month long from now until the end of May. There will be speakers doing different sessions. There will be special activities. It's a month-long event. And the fun part is we sometimes won't know until a day or two ahead of time what's coming. Makes it interesting, especially for me. But today we have Douglas with us. You all know Douglas, I'm pretty sure. And he is coming to do fear into power. Perfect topic for him. Because as you've been seeing and I've been talking about a lot is that fear gets a lot of people stuck, and it's a problem. I know it was a huge problem for me. And once you get past it, man, you would be amazed at all the things you can do once you stop letting fear run your life. So with no further chit chat from me, I'm going to bring Douglas on.
Oh my goodness.
Hello. And I am going to get off and let you do your thing. Welcome, Douglas.
Thank you so much. Hey, gang, everybody out there, I hope that the signal's coming through fine and the audios are working. We're working with getting the lighting here on my side. But yeah, let's get started. First, I would like to thank the Rebel Tribe and Melodian and the other presenters that are going to come and share the timeless wisdom that's really going to help move you from where you are to where you want to be. And I speak from experience, having released 130 pounds in probably what I would say is the easiest thing I've ever done for myself. Because when you get the emotions cleared out, the body knows the way, and it knows the way back to health. So let me get started. My name is Douglas Myrick. I have no credentials in life other than a bachelor's degree in health science education, where before then I intended to become a doctor of chiropractic until one day in human anatomy class, a convergence of two strange, fateful powers happened. I was struggling with something I could not release. I had spent money you wouldn't believe how much on therapy, going the traditional route, on medications, pastes, pills, powders, the latest crazes. I even went and spent big bucks going on weekend events where you walk barefoot on crazy things and you punch through karate boards and you do the things that you see sensationalized on the internet to try to move the mind from a place of change resistance and fear into actionable steps that lead to a sensation of power, control, and ability. And once you get that sequence moving, you can achieve your reasonable goals and dreams. Absolutely. So, what is this? This is day one of a powerful pop up summit. And if you choose, it can be your day one. Speaker after speaker, presenter after presenter can come through. And maybe this person doesn't quite get the hot spot, but the next person, oh, she knocked it out of the park. And this person over here had some really good advice, but I'm not ready in life right now to act on that. But you know what? Hey, maybe number four will absolutely trip the trigger that helps you make the quality decision that not only is change possible, not only can you move from fear into power, but I'm going to start today. And at the end of the day, you have a smile because you see yourself in that mirror and you say for the first time, maybe in a long time, you did it. You paid the price. And look at the progress you've already made. One day at a time, one step at a time. Any of your presenters, any of the people here in leadership will tell you that regardless of the strategy that you use, consistency is key. Check up with a coach. Make sure that you're on the right path, but consistency is key. Just show up. Just do it. Well, that's easy to say for you, Douglas, but you don't know what I've got going on. You don't know that I only have a few hours a week to. Well, here's the thing, you've got to start where you start. I can't give you more time. I can give you more peace. I can give you more comfort. I can give you more certainty. And the truth is, you give it to yourself. But what we can do is we can take what we can start and we can amplify it. We can magnify it. We can potentiate the strength and the efficacy so that that half hour hits like 2 or 3. And maybe you can begin to prioritize that extra little bit of time toward your sensible goals and dreams. So let's talk about that. What is something going on in your life right now that you knew, oh boy, if I could just go and get it, life would be fun again. Life would be great. I would wake up in the morning with passion. First thing top of mind wouldn't be the bad news or the negative things out there. It would be what it is that I get to do with my exciting day to day. And for some people, it's getting a chance to help others. Like the folks here in leadership, we like to help others. That's why we spend 12, 14 hours a day after day, reaching out with people. I've got outreach with people globally thanks to the internet, and since COVID, most things are done on Zoom. We don't even have to have a major office anymore. And maybe that's something you'd like to do. Maybe there's something going on in your life that if you could just move past that, right now, you could begin to take those steps and start living your dreams. Start sharing the teachings that came hard for you to make an impact in someone else's life, just like they made an impact in yours. Because I think you'll agree it's not hard to teach what was awfully hard to learn. That's played so much of a role in my life. So, where did this come from? Let me share with you quickly. In the year 2006, 20 years ago, I stumbled upon the discovery that is a shortcut to self help. That's a pretty bold claim. But remember what I shared earlier. I had already spent so much time, so much effort, so much money, stacks of self help books, piles of notes from going off to self help retreats, and walking barefoot on crazy, ridiculous things. I look back and I'm like, what were you doing? All to try to create a sense of relief, a sense of freedom from what had plagued me since a terrible, terrible incident with a caregiver at a very young, tender age. The worst kind you could imagine. But nothing seemed to get in there and separate that trigger from the response. And what was the response? Anxiety, hopelessness, feeling indifference some days, feeling excited and ready to whip the world some mornings, but by noon, of course, those good feelings wore off because something would get triggered. A stimulus would evoke a response. And that response would be anxiety, depression, flop sweat, a feeling of powerlessness, a feeling of hopelessness that would just wash over me. Something that would defy medication, traditional therapy, even hypnosis. And so you see, I began to study clinical hypnosis, thinking, well, maybe I can help myself. Maybe, just maybe, I didn't want to share every tender little detail with these people. Maybe that's what was wrong. That's what made me change resistant. And so I drugged myself one day to human anatomy class. What was my declared major? I was tracking along the pre-medical students. I was a pre-chiropractic student, but they didn't have a specific pre-chiropractic track in preparation for matriculation off to a proper college of chiropractic. It didn't exist at my university. So the counselor said, well, track alongside the nurses, future doctors, dentists, whatnot. You'll have enough credits that you'll be able to matriculate in time. Fine, except I'm also going through this personal hell and I'm sitting in college and I'm not an 18-year-old young skull full of mush at this point. I'm 31, 32 years of age, maybe 33. I'd had a lot of life before I went to college. And I'm sitting there in class and I'm nervous, and I'd been studying all week on my own, learning basic applications for clinical hypnosis. Inductions, good grief, we went through inductions. But I could never get myself deep enough. I couldn't get past the critical thalamus, the bullshit filter in the mind that says, no, this isn't going to work for you. No, no, I'm not letting you through. Resisting my change. Follow me. The professor came in, as he often did, grabbed a piece of chalk. This is how far back this goes. He used a chalkboard. And he scribbled up on the board, hey, you might want to write this down, kids. Going to be on the test, I bet. 7 golden words. Now, people, listen to me. Change can happen that fast. When the universe prepares you and puts you in a place where you're meant to be, you can't stop it. There's no power greater than that kind of fate. I believe that. And I believe that for your life too. Because he wrote up there something that I've been struggling with all week: how to access the amygdala, the emotional library inside the mind, where all of the triggers and pain, especially my pain, existed. Because I just knew if I could somehow get myself relaxed enough, deep enough, hypnotized enough, I could be able to go in there and separate the stimulus from the response, the activating event that hurt me so badly, from its effect on my life decades later. But I just couldn't do it until that professor came along and ruined my chiropractic career before it even started. He said, the sense of smell. The sense of smell activates the amygdala. I said, now hold up. I'm an old country boy. Let me see if I get this right. What I've been fighting like hell to try to do, I could do instantly with no training, using a pleasing, safe aroma, such as, some peppermint essential oil. I'm literally doing it right now in front of you. You want to turn fear into power? Go get yourself something safe and familiar that you can smell. It doesn't have to be an essential oil. It could be scented lotion or whatever. Some people just use a cap full of toothpaste. But if you've got that within reach, I encourage you to grab that now, because here in a little bit, we're going to run through these techniques. We're going to create some change in your life. It's not about what I did to you. It's about what you did to yourself. Just like that. I was so intrigued by the possibility when this professor said those 7 words that I saw instantly, like a mental movie. I don't know the physics of the time and how it worked, but I saw the whole thing start to finish. What I could do to access that amygdala, that emotional library, the seat of emotional pain and trauma, especially the fear response. Fear into power. You see where I'm going? So I scooped up my things. I went to the student union cafe, ordered a big old jug of lemon, or unsweet tea with lemon, because I knew that they cut the lemon fresh every day, and I'd have a big old ample wedge. I needed something that was clean and refreshing, with a childhood memory that was happy. And I remember how in the springtime we would start cleaning the house, open up all the windows, getting that winter dirt out, letting the cool, wonderful, fresh breeze come in, clean and refreshed like a windswept home in the springtime. Maybe a little pollen, but what I remember most is that lemony scent. Refreshing, sweeping out all the old and unnecessary things, making room for the new, the good, the fresh. And that's the association that I wanted to have when I experimented on myself. Well, in my $4 book on Amazon, I make it cheap so everybody can get it. Novanetix, Novanetix. This contains 9 techniques, one of which is the very first one I ever did back in 2006, when I had no clue what was going on. I just had an excited feeling that I'd finally found what was going to help me, what was going to save me. And it's in here. I think it's number 2, maybe number 4, toward the back. It's called the Trash Can Stomp. Well, that was year 2006, 20 years ago. And in fewer than 5 minutes, not knowing what I was doing, but using the sense of smell to activate the amygdala, that professor was right. I broke the back of my crushing anxiety. depression, and all the abnormal responses, the flop sweat, all of that was just gone. It was like a cable had just become unhooked with the terminal ends clamped off, never to touch again. Now, I can't go back in time and fix what happened. I can't change what went wrong. It just simply doesn't get a rise out of me anymore. It can't. I've tried. I've sat with it. I've tried everything. It doesn't create an adverse response anymore. It's not a cure. I didn't go back and fix the problem. It just can't link up anymore. It's gone. The sense of smell activates the amygdala. The amygdala is a part of the brain that holds all those painful, traumatic memories. Why would it do that? It does it to try to keep you safe and to avoid or minimize future reoccurrence of what went wrong in the first place. But now you, with this technology I'm giving you today, to start off this wonderful pop-up series, not only are you going to learn about it, hear some theory about it, we're past that. Now we're going to get into it. Because there are 8 ways to use this crazy discovery that I came up with in college. How effective is it? Does it wear off? It's been 20 years and it's never come back once. I am not legally allowed, nor would I dare, to make the claim that that is a cure. It's not a cure. I don't know what it is, but damn, I love it. And the neat thing is, it's not just singular with me. It works for others. I became a convert, if you will, that very moment. I got up out of that union and I started walking around. I was in a daze. I couldn't believe how good I felt. Because when you take that shackle off of your ankle, it turns out by dragging that pain along all these years, you have built up emotional muscle. And now, liberated from that horrible burden, you can run like never before. You can fly through life. You can achieve goals. You can set reasonable and practical goals, and you can go after them because there's nothing holding you back at that point. When I think back to how I limited myself, how I stood in the way of my own goals and dreams, my own life's happiness, how I limited myself, how I played small, stayed in the shadows. Oh, I had ideas. You can probably tell I'm still passionate about them because today I live them. But I had ideas of helping people, serving people, allowing people to experience some of the joy that I felt that day. And I was obnoxious about it. I was fearless. I was a convert. I was an evangel for the amygdala. I was going up, talking to groups of people on campus, saying, hey, is there anything bothering you in life? What's bothering you? I'll fix it. Let's go. Come on. I can take it out of you. And they're looking at me like, who is this crazy 30-something? Get out of here, man. But persistence allowed me to find people. There were people who were worried about the big math test coming up, and they just couldn't seem to get some decent sleep at night. They just can't study enough. They're scared. I said, well, all right, let's do this. Grab this. Smell this old lemon that's crumpled up. And sure enough, it worked for them too. And not just that, but everywhere on campus, I ran into people, faculty, it didn't matter. I'd talk to anybody. And I'd say, hey, tell me about your pain. I'm not trying to be too personal with you, but tell me about your pain. I'll tell you why. Just a little bit ago, I stumbled upon something, and it's worked for me. It's worked for her. It's worked for Jim. It's worked for Susie over here. She's got a big, big calculus test coming up. She was scared to death, and now, well, there's just a warm smile on her face, and all that pain is just off of her. All the worry and anxiety fell off of her. Clean and refreshed, like I said, like a windswept home in the springtime. That's how good it can feel. But there turns out it not only takes the pain out of even the worst kinds of traumatic experiences, but it can also take your existing confidence, your existing skills, your talents, your abilities, and it can magnify your certainty. It can increase emotional potency just the same as it can decrease it. As long as we're staying positive and we're looking at the bright side of what it is you want to potentiate or increase, it'll work for you. So I encourage you now to try some of this. Take a moment. I'll talk for just a little bit about this silly book again. It's $4. I make nothing on it. It's actually $3.83. But if you would, go grab something that's a safe and familiar aroma, and we'll meet back here in about a minute. And what we're going to do is something as simple as this. See how my shoulders drop? That's the mechanism for basic level Novanetics. It's so simple. Now let's talk about it. Novanetics, crazy little thing. What is it? Nova means new. Netics is a play on words that is sort of a nod of recognition to two books that influenced me at a very young age. Hypno-Cybernetics, spelled Netics, by Sidney Petrie and Robert B. Stone. And it had to do more with not self-hypnosis, but self-relaxation and mild auto-programming of the mind. I always thought that was fascinating, that you could program your mind for greater things. And then, of course, would be Cybernetics or Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. He was a plastic surgeon, and he noticed how very unusual it was that people would come in for these radical plastic surgical procedures, and even though they took and they looked fantastic, they still reported the body dysmorphia of not feeling different, of not feeling better, of not feeling more attractive. They had a different locus of control that he talks about in his works. And I thought that that was fascinating too. And by the way, in my own transformation, where I nearly effortlessly, no pastes, no pills, no radical diets, zero cardio, no cardio. I only started lifting weights after I lost 80 pounds because a doctor friend of mine said, you're going to start losing muscle too. You better fight to keep it. So I did. But 130 pounds later, I used to be a size 50. I'm now today size 32, back in my high school blue jeans. It's crazy. And I did it in the most simple way. If you buy this cheap little $3.83 book on Amazon, the techniques that I used to clear my mind of the emotional problems that kept me keeping fat on, well, they're all in here. That's 80% of the program, and it just comes right along with that book. But you can use the book for anything. And again, I don't make anything on it, but it sure does help people. It's purposefully small, it's simple, it's streamlined. The techniques are here in the back. Oh, here's one of my very favorite ones. I'm going to run this one with you here. I trust that by now you've picked up your safe, pleasing aroma, and I'm going to play along. Let's do some of this. It'll be a variation of this. It's called the push-pull technique. Why? Because the inability to create change creates psychological frustration. And prolonged psychological frustration about things that you want in life but you can't seem to go get, that leads to a chemical change in the brain, which formulates into depression. And prolonged depression can lead to feelings of hopelessness. Or on the other side of the teeter-totter, anxiety. I can't change, I need to change. I can't change, I need to change. Anxiety. I'll never be able to change, I want to change. I can't be happy, but I want to change. Hopelessness. And the futility that rises from that is devil enough to imprison most thinking women and men. Hear me. Unresolved change resistance and the cascade effect, all the way down to futility and hopelessness, has always been devil enough to hold us back in life. We've never really needed another. But now you can fight back. And not even fight back. You can win. And not just today, but with results that persist. With good feelings that can last. Yes, the world will come along. Yes, negativity will start to pull it back down. But if all it takes is a little of this, and you're back in the game, friends, congratulations. Today is your day to turn things around. Let's start with the push-pull control drill. These are a series of exercises I call control drills, because what really happens when we're turning fear into power is we are regaining a sense of certainty about our ability to control ourselves. Because if we can put greater control over our lives, we can create greater change out in the world and make a bigger impact all around. So let's look at this. I'll walk you through the summary first. In this technique, the push pull control drill, you imagine different objects. You mentally push them away and then you bring them back. Get it? Push pull. Why? Because that establishes that it's safe for you to exert control over something. In this case, something imaginary, hypothetical. But the subconscious doesn't know the difference, it just keeps the score. And up until now, there may have been times in the past that you let yourself down, that you walked right into a blind side, got into a relationship with an abusive partner, somebody gaslit you, maybe you had a narcissist. They're rare, but they're out there. Or maybe, just maybe, you blew it at work, or you tried for something and it didn't come together. And your subconscious said, see, you just can't win. Other people can win, but not you. Why do you do this? Why do you even try again? You know you're just going to get hurt. Why do you put yourself out there in the romance world? You know you're just going to find another knucklehead. Why in the world would you do that to yourself, girl or guy? Why? And for me, it was things like that. Why would you try to go out and teach something like this? You know very well that there are 100,000 modalities out there. People pop up every day with something. I said, yeah, but there's something you don't care to compare with this situation. My stuff's been working for 20 years off one application. Maybe I can trust that. And so my own push pull was centered around that. Let's figure out what your push pull will be. Grab your safe and familiar aroma. Take the cap off. Oh, this is exciting. When the cap comes off, that means change is coming. Let's get connected. The main goal of the push pull technique is to help you to safely feel back in control, to allow your subconscious mind to feel safe, letting you take more and more control in your life. Instead of having to fight your subconscious mind for control, for direction, we're going to calm it down. It's going to say, fine, I trust you again. I'm starting to learn to trust you again. You really want to make that change. You really want to drop that weight. You really want to start that business. You really want to start that podcast. You really want to. Okay, I'll stop fighting you. But understand something. If it gets scary again, I'm going to come back and try to resist that change. So if suddenly things get hard, you know I got spooked. That's the subconscious talking to you. So you're going to want to do this a few times throughout the process of obtaining your goals and dreams. Fair enough? So why don't we do this? Just go ahead and let your shoulders get up nice, strong, and tight, and then let them relax. Loose and limp and completely relaxed. Cooked spaghetti, just limber. And now let's take some aroma as we tighten the shoulders, hold it, and then drop them back down as we exhale. And then just think peace, relax, calm. You're not going into trance. Novanetics doesn't use hypnosis. You don't need it. It's the shortcut. Nice and tight. And then just say, I get to decide when. Yeah, I get to decide when. I get to choose when. All right, let's begin. In your mind's eye, the place where we used to go and play as children, that theater of the mind. Imagine a yellow, juicy lemon. You went to the store and you picked out the biggest, most beautiful lemon. See how it's tapered at the ends? It's got those giant pores and pits. And maybe it's got a light, waxy coating so you can see how the light reflects upon it. Gives it that ray traced look. It's beautiful. Now focus closely on the details of your lemon. Look at the tiny pores, the bumps, the interstices, all the imperfections of that lemon. Zoom in. Mentally zoom in. Give yourself the power to be able to zoom in as close as possible to that lemon. And now you're in control, not me. So I'm going to lean on your ability to imagine, or even if you have to, sketch the following. Picture the lemon moving. You're in control, not me. So it can be this way, it could be that way, just whatever way you want it. Get that lemon moving, create motion. Motion under your will, your control. And now I want you to focus on that lemon as it's moving. And now there are two lemons. Just you're in control, not me. You decide what that means. Maybe you got a little lemon here, big lemon here, identical. Maybe you're like me, you're a duper, a duplicator. But get them moving in opposite directions. You're showing your subconscious mind that you're in control. You have assumed control. And it's safe for you to assume control again and again. And now, four lemons. Move them any way you want. Maybe get them going in kind of a circle. Maybe you hold that square shape and you get them moving. You're in control, not me, so you get to decide. You probably haven't felt that empowered in quite a while. Maybe somebody hasn't come along to remind you you're still in control. You have every perfect right to take back control. Even if it begins today, you have that perfect right to take back control and to be the difference that love can make. Love for yourself, love for your family, love for the people that you work hard for and that you pray for, and the power to change. Still get the lemons? When I go off on a ramble like that, that's because I expect you to be able to keep those lemons moving in your mind. Focus on them. Don't focus on me. And now, how about 8 lemons, 16 lemons, 32 lemons? Fill your mind with these crazy lemons. You ready? Here's the fun part. 3 deep cleansing breaths, and as you exhale, speak what I speak. Here we go. Here and now, I get to decide when. Here and now, I get to decide when. I don't have to take back all the control right now. I don't have to take back all of the control right now. Here's number 3. But if I do, it's okay. And I'm safe. Let's lock it in again. But if I do choose to take back control, it's okay. And I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. And now, squish all of those lemons into one giant lemon. It just does it. I don't know how you do it. Make it make sense. You're in control. Now, picture that lemon flying off through some magical power into the sun where it's vaporized. Poof, it's gone. Here's where it gets exciting. With 50% of your stubborn willpower, I got it too. Compel that lemon to come back to you. Pull it. Feel the struggle as you command that damn lemon to come back. But with the other 50% of your wise, stubborn, calculating cautiousness, resist. Pull it away or push it away. You're pulling as hard as you can and you're pushing it. Now go ahead and let the pull win and bring the lemon halfway back. You can see it in the sky. Now, with 50%, push it back into the sun, but fight it, make it go slow, slow, slowly. And when you decide it's time, not me, you, let it go into the sun at that moment. Poof, and it's gone. And when it does, join me as we take in some more deep cleansing aroma breaths. We're going to potentiate, lock in some of these goods. Watch this. Locking in these goods, these changes, these wins. I feel safe right now. Yes, I assumed control, and I was safe to do so. This doesn't have to make sense, but it feels better. I don't have to always win in life, but when it counts, I get to decide. I get to take back control, and I like it. You know I like it. I love it. I love the sensation of being in control of my life, of mastering the things that feel uncomfortable to me. The things that are not only uncomfortable to me, but the feelings that are sometimes scary or frightening. And what is fear into power, but simply change resistance into activity that leads to growth and lasting change. So think about what it is in your life that's holding you back from making the change you desire to create in your life, whatever that may be. It can be a logical thing, like I don't have enough time and I just struggling to put my time together to get organized with it. It could be something irrational, like, well, people are going to see me out there in the world making these changes, standing up for what I believe in, doing all these things, trying to start a business, trying to do this. They know me, they've seen me fail before. And I don't like the fact that there are people out there who might laugh at me or might make fun of me, who would think less of me. My God, what would my family think? What would my partner think? What would their parents think? But I'm here to tell you, when you choose to be the difference in this world, the difference that love can make, and you make that transition from where you want to be to where you need to be, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth facing your fear. Because what is that fear? It's just a supposition of what could go wrong. Oh, but what could go right? Damn it all, what could go right? Think about that for a moment, would you please? What could go right if you began to move in mastery toward your dreams and live with passion? What would it be like for you to reclaim that power, to reclaim that certainty? And maybe for some of you, for the very first time, to believe in yourself, to trust yourself, not only to love yourself. And I don't mean that in a vain or conceited way, but in a way that conveys trust, certainty, dependability. You wake up in the morning and you look in that mirror and a smile naturally forms. I bet it does tomorrow morning. A smile naturally forms. Why not? Let's lock that in. From now on, when I see myself, I'll smile and say, I love you. I'm learning to like you a little bit more each day. Yeah, you did some things that hurt us. You got us in some trouble. You got us in some bad situations, but you know what? You got us out of it too. Or you're beginning to take the steps today to change that problem. Let's lock that in. I covenant with myself here and now to safely create the change I need. To safely create the change I need. And why not now? Let's go ahead and do the trash can stomp. Let's get this one out of the way. This is the one that saved me because, friends, I was running out of options. And that long dirt nap was starting to look damned good. And I wanted to skip class. I nearly skipped class that day that the professor said those 7 golden words that absolutely changed everything in my life and saved me from myself. The sense of smell activates the amygdala. If you would please, I'm going to do it for memory. I've done it 1,000 different ways for folks, but it's in the book. It's the trash can stomp in there, probably technique number 4. Wrote the book, I ought to know that. Grab your safe and familiar aroma and let's have fun. Let's play together a little bit, all right? In your mind's eye, the place where we used to visualize. As children, we would see the dragons that we would slay, or we would see the beautiful gardens we would grow. We would imagine. And if you struggle with visualizing, just pretend that you can. And imagine what your pretend self that can is seeing. Simple technique. Think about what it is that's holding you back. And if not that, think about something from the past or maybe even the present that hurts. Maybe it was a bad emotional breakup. I've processed those. Maybe it was a terrible fear or phobia. I had bad spider phobia. Got rid of that with this. Maybe it's fear of flying, fear of public speaking, fear of taking action, fear of what other people might think. Whatever it is, give it some symbolic form like a little black rain cloud or whatever you choose. A frowny face, I've used that many times. And now, 1, 2, 3, we're in the middle of a freshly cut field of grass in the middle of the Ozarks on a hot summer day. And you know how steamy and nasty the Ozarks can get in the summertime. We're talking late July, early August, when the lemonade starts tasting real good. And man, it's just like a sauna getting out of your car going into the Walmart. Y'all shop Walmart, right? Northwest Arkansas here. Should we have done that shameless plug? I don't know. But it's the middle of a hot summer day in the Ozarks, and it's steaming. And right in the middle of that freshly cut grass, you notice there's an old metal trash can. Remember the kind that's got the ribs? I think they're made of aluminum, maybe, or old tin, or maybe the older ones of steel. And there's a lid on it. Let's be careful now as we walk over, and I'm there with you, all right? I can't do this for you, but I'll be beside you. Lift that lid off for you, and you look in there, and oh, there's old fish heads and roadkill and guts and nasty things. And oh, it's awful. Granny's dentures, just anything. The flies are buzzing, and it's just horrible, and the smell is disgusting. And let's step back and get a little more comfort from this. Come back with me a little bit. The trash can's still in front of you, the lid's on the ground. And now take that frowny face or storm cloud or whatever it is that symbolically, temporarily represents what it is you're wanting to be free from or to significantly get some pain away from you. Set it in that trash can. Let's put the lid on it. And now, if you will, from 0, a number line. A 0 represents perfect peace and calm. Damn, I feel better. All the way up to extreme 11, which is the worst kind of agony. Life imprisoning, pain, fear, torture, ugliness, terror, the worst kinds of emotional intensity about what it is you just stuffed in that trash can. Now remember that number. If you can, grab a pen, write it down. Because what is measured can be evaluated over time for relief, for change. For example, some of you may be going through it. You may be going through the worst kinds of problems. And as you face trying to convert your fear into power, this is something that's holding you back. Maybe. But whatever it is, maybe it's a 10, maybe it's an 11. Some people are like, "Who? It's a 15. I hate that old man." But whatever it is, remember it at least or write it down. Because it's in the trash can right now. Let's step back away 50 feet. I'll go with you. Let's start sniffing some clean, refreshing fragrance, whatever it is. I happen to have peppermint here, but I usually use lavender for these sorts of techniques. But you do whatever is best and safest for you. Now that we're nice and far away, we magically put the lid back on the trash can. And if you look up in the air, here comes a mighty archangel with a tremendously large boot. And we call it the trash can stomp, so you already know what's going to happen, don't you? Not by our power, but we'll lean on some higher power right now. And you lean on whatever power speaks to you. Nice deep breath in, and I want you to imagine this mighty power with this gigantic boot just stomping the dog out of this trash can. Stomp, 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 stomp. Grinding it in with the heel, the toes, rolling it around, jumping high into the air and stomping it, pushing it into the earth if you can. And let's grab some aroma. And I want you, if you can, out loud, make a fist with the other hand and shake it. Really get involved in this. And speak the words that I speak, okay? Here we go. And let's start stomping. You're in control, not me. Let's go. Stomp, 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 stomp. Aroma. Feeling good. Stomp, 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 stomp. Look at the way it's beating up that trash can. Stomp, 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 stomp. Because what you can symbolically change, you can improve upon. Stomp, 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 stomp. And maybe add some carnival music in the background. Stomp, stomp. Keep going. Say it. Stomp, 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 stomp. And there's an elephant. There's a monkey up top. He's got a funny little hat and he's waving at you. Grinning that cute little monkey smile. Stomp, 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 stomp. Of course this seems absurd. Of course this seems ridiculous. Because we're going back to that place of innocence, our childhood. And when you return safely to innocence, you can reclaim the control that you always deserved. The control that was wrongly taken from you. That you surrendered when you didn't have to. I'm not blaming you. I'm supporting you because today we go from fear to power. And I invite you to take a fist and shake it in the air and say, I get to decide when. Stomp, 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 stomp. I don't have to let go of my anger about this today, but I might. Stomp, 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 stomp. And who knows, maybe this week, this month, this year, something will happen and you'll decide to finally let go of all that pain and frustration that you needlessly carry. It doesn't serve you. But you can choose to make today your day, to invite that higher power to help you, to raise its leg up now, and to look at that trash can. What does it look like? Is it smashed? Is it stomped? Is it flat? I bet it is. Here's the test. Yes, you could if you wanted to. You could stretch it up and make it just like it was before, but let's don't do that. Let's fight it. Remember, push, pull. With half of your willpower, keep that trash can smashed into the ground. It can't stand up against you again. It won't dare because it knows that you have assumed control. But with the other half, try to pull it up, make it happen. Oh, but it can't quite. But you feel that conflict inside of you. That conflict is the key to turning fear into power. Because watch this. You go, but I'm going to give you the signal. You're in control, not me. But when I clap my hands the third time, I want you to just let that trash can snap back flat against the ground and it can't dare stand up against you ever again. Ever again. You're free from it. You've broken the back of its control. And you've set yourself free. Here we go. 1, 2. You know it's coming. Wait for it. 3. Welcome to freedom. Let's lock that in. Because it's okay to feel good. It's okay to choose to feel good now. You don't have to. You're in control after all, but you can choose. And I love it. You can know your true worth. You can know your value. You can learn to say yes to every good and safe opportunity out there. There are some bad ones, but you have the wisdom now to discern the difference and to keep yourself safe. To have the power and the control to embrace yourself, to love yourself, to just give yourself a big old wonderful hug. Come on. Because now you're friends again. You and that highly protective subconscious mind. And when your spirit unites with your purpose, it ignites and activates that purpose, clearing the path so that now you can move forward, so that you can choose to feel good now. And why not say yes to that? Why not say yes to your now? Let's lock that in. I can choose to say yes right now. I can choose to say yes to success. I can choose to feel the difference love can make. Love for myself, love for my family, love for the people that I'm out there fighting for every day. But now I'm not fighting with 50% with my own internal conflict. I am. Let's lock that in, let's love it, and let's choose to be that difference that love can make. Friends, thank you so much for your time today. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I encourage you again. I make nothing on this. I give away more of these than I ever sell. Grab this book. It's helpful, it's useful. And more than that, this is just level one. Since 2006, I have created literally over 1,000 variations of techniques, 10 banker boxes full, something for everything out there. I encourage you to study it. No, I'm not selling sessions, but reach out to me. I'll probably do it for free. I'd be glad to help you. All I ask is that you move from this needless fear, this phantom fear that's false evidence appearing real. You knew I'd say it at some point. Into control, into power. Because when you begin to trust yourself at the fundamental level, you will no longer fight against that power that never sleeps, that keeps you up at night, that causes you to think about what you don't have and maybe cry, to look at others and to say, what have they got that I haven't? What they don't have is internal conflict holding you back. But when you move from fear into power, you will partner with that dynamic process, that part within you, that subconscious mind. And now, with that same fervor, it fought to hold you back, to keep you afraid, to keep you limited, to let that dirty bastard that did you wrong have the final say. Not after today. You can choose to take back control, to feel safe to do it, to trust yourself again, to make choices, and then go after it. Maybe small at first, but it will happen for you. And this is just day one. presenter one. From here on, they get better and better. I'm just a silly hack, but you know what? I believe in what I teach, and I love sharing it with people like you. I can't wait to hear your success stories. I can't wait to read your book that you may someday make, or to hear your presentation when you get up and you pay it forward. This is a big world. There's a lot of suffering out there. But in this world of darkness, you, I, we can be points of light. I invite you to help us to change the world, and it starts with you. Thank you so very much for your time. I hope you have a wonderful pop up summit. Be sure to catch them all, and we'll see you at the next one. Thanks again. That's the end of my presentation.
Douglas, thank you for that. I can vouch for the fact that it works because, well, I had that accident. After that, I would not get on the bypass. I would drive miles and miles and miles out of my way to keep from driving on the bypass.
So
And and now, not a problem,
this,
which I'm grateful for because it really has cut down on my commute time.
I bet it has. Melodian, thank you so much for this wonderful resource that people can use, that they can access. I know you're going to change lives, and you reaching out to another chapter of your wonderful life's calling. It's great.
This off in such a great way. We appreciate it. For everybody that is interested, this will be recorded and available in the group for the next 30 days. And after that, it goes away. So if you want to go back and listen to it, you better do it soon. I'm going to put them all in what do they call them in the groups now? Guides. Yes. I'm going to put it all in a guide so that you'll be able to go in and find them all and watch the ones you missed and rewatch the ones that you want to listen to again. So thank you, Douglas, and we will see you later.